And hey, folks, give me just a minute, and we will just bring us on in. Hide that. Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into our program, I am going to need to thank our sponsors. We're sponsored by three primary sources. First is the good folks at indiecd.org. These independent creator directory is a one-stop shop for the best and the brightest musicians, authors, editors. If you're looking to work on a creative project and you need people who can help you make your vision a reality, these are the guys to talk to. I'm a member of the Independent Creators Directory, and they do pay for my streaming for both this channel and for my personal channel, the Nicholas Tockert channel, over there to bring my videos to you guys. And I'm very thankful and grateful to them because they're also a safe place in this time of being demonetized and kept offline. The Independent Creator Directory gives you stability. For a one-time fee, you reach out to them and you'll have a website, a place where your stuff can be linked to, access to a we'll say curated social media area where you actually are talking about work and what we're trying to get done. It is a great program. It's a great thing to be part of. No. I also get a lot of what I do paid for by sales of the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear. My ongoing series of books designed to help you make it from having never handled a sword all the way up to instructing others in its use. I say ongoing because there are more books planned out in the series for several other weapons and styles to help bring the complexities of martial arts to plain, simple English to viewers all and readers all over the world. Now, you can find that and all my other books over on amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert. I'm a game designer. I just released my horror anthology, Through the Thinning Veil, 7 stories from when I was a paranormal consultant, or absolute fictions. You could decide which is which. It's a great set of reads, great fun. It is by basis in large print because I didn't want to squint. So this is a great story. Please snag yourself a copy and then review it. It's a good time. Now, we actually have a lot to talk about, but there's one other great group of people who make this possible, that being my Patreon patrons at patreon.com/The Historical Fencing Guild. These great folks are the ones who some pay as little as $1 a month to help me be able to buy gear, afford things like the StreamYard before I got my sponsorship, upgrade my facilities for the videos that are coming. They're a patient, blessed bunch who consistently refuse to let me keep things secretive to them. But I'm planning some great things for them come winter. I'm planning some indoor recordings of a very special occurrence. You're seeing the scroll followed by the names Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald Rain, that's Bladed Thesis because I can't pronounce his name, Brian K. Morris, Cindy Kep, and Steve Augusto. These folks are what let me do what I do for you. Now, I will also point out one other thing as a means of transparency. I do have an affiliate link with woodenswords.com. That's Purple Heart Armory. And if you follow this link, any purchase you make I will get, like, I want to say 1 or 2% kicked back to me. However, I review everything with staunch moral set. And if I ever were pressured to not, I simply would not involve myself with that kind of people because the quality of your experience and the quality of what you're doing is more important to me. So we're going to move that back. And I am also going to bring my boot back up so that we can enjoy where we are. Hi, everybody. We got a couple people in chat. Not many. That's okay yet. We're going to get started. We've got Bladed Thesis. Hi, Sword Family. Hey, Thesis. Evening. Why don't you just drop my like and go to sleep? You get sleep, Alec. If you need anything, you know how to reach out to me, my friend. Evening, folks. Hi, Foxy. Hope you're having a good one. But I have some stuff to discuss in our hour together. And anything you guys want to discuss, feel free to hit me up. First and foremost, I want to discuss a knife acquisition I made. I recently made a knife acquisition. I've talked about it on Facebook, but I haven't expounded upon it on more public things. This is the knife I recently acquired. This is a Mora knife. Not a Mora knife like you know as one. This is from the Mora company that merged to become Mora knives that most people are familiar with. It was not quite in the shape. I had to do some leather restoration, but I wanted you to see it pretty. This is a 503 from the 60s. Yes, this is a real bushcraft knife. Now, I picked this knife among a pile of Chinese gobbledygook because I knew exactly what it was, and I will show you some of the maker's marks. I'll see if I can get the camera to zoom in. There we go. You can see the 503, and maybe, I don't know if I can get it to show any clearer, the additional marks. There are additional marks, but it's just not showing up. This is a vintage knife, so it is probably somewhere around 80 plus years old. Now, I like this style of knife for bushcraft knives because it has a feature that many modern knives find distasteful. It is the cross guard, the finger guard. This is a wonderful way, especially for novices, to keep their hands safe. It also is. Oh, Johnny, we will get there. We will get to you. And it's a shame that Alec left because Alec really wanted me to talk to you. So I will talk to you in a bit, Johnny. But this is full length. You can see the peening. So that means it's got a full tang that goes all the way through. Razor sharp and remarkably comfortable in the grip. This is a bushcraft knife. This is meant for work. Whittling, carving things down, making the tools you need, food preparation, skinning, whatever. This is a remarkable knife, high quality, and I got it for an absolute steal. One thing I like about this knife is much smaller, and I had planned to bring a tape measure to show you guys the length, the grip. But for my smaller hands, it fits just locked in. Mora does have a modern version of this that is not full tang called the Scout, and it is used by Boy Scouts because, again, your hand can't slide up the blade. I like cross pieces. Many knives don't have them. Many modern Mora knives don't have them. But a good high carbon blade like this, which means I can use it for ferro rods, and the previous owner, actually, if you look, you'll see they did some work with the spine of the blade, which tells you whoever owned this actually did some bushcrafty things. I'm betting it was to strike a ferro rod to start fires, but it is a fascinating tool, fascinating piece of the history. And you don't see this kind of craftsmanship in a sheath anymore. This is not just ornamental metal. This is all reinforcing over the stitches where the edge is most likely to possibly break through under extreme stress. This is a great, great knife. So I don't buy knives often. I have quite many. And people often ask me, well, what kind of knife do you like? What kind of knife, melts your butter? This is for what it is, which is a very practical work knife. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, because it is vintage, I will probably be ordering myself the modern version of this, or a modern version of this, which is not nearly as ornate. It's a lot less expensive, and it will show what I do. So we'll keep out for that. I might do a comparison of the old way versus the new way. But I really wanted to set out and talk about this kind of knife because even now, this is a collector's piece, isn't as expensive as some of these people who go out with multi-$100 knives. And that does baffle me because knives do get broken, they get lost, they get damaged. And we have to understand first, a knife is a tool before it's a weapon. I mean, a sword is great, but it's not as great as if you can't use it in the jungle to defend yourself. That's where something like a machete is much, much more pleasant. And knowing what you can have, that's also why the German hunting swords had sawbacks and were beat all to tar comparatively to their more prissy brethren of the period. Uh, Understanding that is going to help you have a better knife, better experience, both practically and combatively. So it's something I just want to layer all the options here. Now, oops, sorry. I am in the other screen. Give me just a moment. Jai says the quality of my viewing experience is entirely based on my ability to make you facepalm. How do we do that? Well, Johnny, you don't know this, but you are already responsible for me facepalming. And you will have a great opportunity for next week to make me facepalm. As we get into spooky season, there will be tricks and treats, so to speak. So, in the case of this, and Foxy says that we'll help Johnny because that's what you do. And Thesis is promoting his tea house tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Wonderful. It's a great program. I will be incredibly busy again out of town, but we will make that work. Not that it matters to anyone, but my mother had to have rather severe hand surgery, and because of that, she can't cook and do some other things. My dad's hands aren't in that great of shape either for certain things. So we'll be visiting to help with projects, and because of that, I won't be able to do things Saturday. But yesterday was RPG night, and I wanted to let Johnny know that a new set of players have found a way to get to the gatehouse completely without the use of boats or violence, and basically realized that you'd make a far better vampire overlord to the region than, say, Lord Solitaire, for those of you who don't know, and are basically forming alliances in the best ways possible. I'm sure there's no treachery on your part involved, and if it is, it's all directed at Solitaire. It's okay. But you have, based solely image-wise on that picture I did, a gaggle of fans, Johnny. You have a gaggle of fans bordering on groupies who quite like you. So I just thought I'd let you know. Now, I wanted to talk about that because I'm going to go into another section fairly soon. And I've decided I have not suffered for your amusement nearly enough. And it is high time that I do. So I will be setting up a new folder and putting out a new link on the public Facebook group for Cursed Armor Review. Yes, folks, that's right. I will review armor that my viewers and patrons select, excuse me, for the sole purpose of making myself suffer and you be entertained at how I suffer. Because apparently that is the content you want. And as that is the case, hey, Cindy. Okay, guys, we're good. Cindy Kep is going to be live at the Omaha QuadCon Comic and Toy Show at Oakview Mall, September 30th and October 1st in Omaha, Nebraska. Go there, buy her awesome stuff, and support it. See, that's how nice adventures should be. Some of them may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. understand that's a sacrifice a large number of them are willing to make as well. At least one of them wants to end up, at least in this playthrough, as the power on the slightly lesser throne. So things are great. Um, a gaggle, a crew, a horde, or a throng of fans. The world must know. Um, right now, it is approximately 12 teenagers who are playing through another variant of Dusk Falls over Ravencleft Gorge, the game I run. Because I think it's nice to, as a swordsman, be able to run RPGs and answer questions like, will this actually work that way? And go, yeah, cool, I've seen it. Or, nope. Or, good Lord, man. So, Johnny, on the basis of his persona, on the basis of his raw charisma, and the image I did of a thumbnail with him and solving the little dude problem, which is from the Nevermind the Furthermore / Art Time with Nick series on my other channel, you have devotees. And it's kind of neat to see. Several of them basically the whole party's turning incredibly shady. Save for one druid, but I'm sure that's not going to be a problem. And Helen, but Helen doesn't count. Uh, 12 is the maximum that attend at any given point. A lot of times it's around 8. And they're all teenagers, but they all are liking Johnny Cage and thinking that Johnny Cage for Vampire Overlord is the best idea because Solitaire just needs to move on from the past. So we may look at, in the past I've done videos how to defeat monsters around this time of year. We may do as a monster how to defeat the as a monster how to defeat the adventurers who come after you. Tips and tricks for all the bad guys this year. If that's something you would find entertaining, let me know in the chat. And like I said, Cursed Armor review is coming. I will try to rank it somewhat. I haven't got a scale yet. It will not be by the standards of someone like Jill Barrett, but it will be ranked, in a manner, and we will see what's right, what's wrong, what's unholy, and what's cursed about any given armor you guys throw. I will say, usual caveat, no blood and gore, no nudity, nothing I can't show on this channel. But we're going to look into that. Now, so I will set up a folder for you sometime this weekend. Possibly today, but I don't want to make promises I'm not sure I'm going to keep. I believe I made you teach us how to kill a vampire hunter before. It was a half-joke question that I was glad you took so seriously. I did to an extent. And I think it's fair that we go back over that and discuss a lot of the material, because so many of my friends are of the formerly human or no longer human or alleged cryptid status that they deserve support too. Jill Barrett is amazing. I already pre-ordered her book and I look forward to reading it. She is a one entertainment wise, her series about her fantasy heroine, spot on glorious. We will say that. Once in a while, I do find myself bumping into her, disagreeing with her ranking system, which happens with anyone I respect, because I look at it from a practical combat status situation and a bit more historical than a comfort as a stage combat person. They're two localized but divergent paths. And I do find her work fascinating. And it's far better than any of the drivel that a Shad person out of Australia puts out. I said it. Now, mind you, I did. I unfollowed him when he came out in support of AI artwork, so I've not seen anything in a couple months of his. Uh, Werewolves are just misunderstood puppers. But if you hear any sightings in Utah tonight or tomorrow, no, you didn't. Ah, the Appalachian cause. I will tell you that last night around midnight, because I was looking for a cat that I don't think is coming back, uh, I was wandering near the crossroads and I met a grumpy man I dislike. And I had to very civilly tell him where to go. It doesn't surprise me these things happen. But yes, werewolves, again, you have to look at it from the werewolf's perspective. And I may actually do a whole, video series, Supernatural Offense. So you're the bad guy, now what? Cat risk rabies, carry silver bullets. I have always been intrigued by that because there are several other ways, allegedly, that one may cure a werewolf depending on the subclass. And we'll get into that too. I may do, like I said, I may do a whole video on that. Scritch's thesis is yours. Well, I'm glad we don't bite often unless provoked. Or you're trying to turn somebody lycanthropic because you want them to be hardier. I know how it is. Trust me. Every so often, my beloved wife will walk up and just chomp my arm and then look at me. Well, just in case I got lycanthropy, you do too. And wander off. You get used to it. But, first thing you got to do is change. First thing we got to change. We should bite to provoke. Unless you like it. Oh, wow. And what's sad is I'm fighting the urge to just spin up a whole lecture on so you're a werewolf, now what? And I can get, you know what? I had planned to get into just looking over some armor stuff, but I think this is more fun. Okay, so let's dig into it right now. I already consider this night a success. You are welcome, Johnny, and I thank you, sir. Now, so you're a werewolf. Now what? Well, you have to figure out what kind of rules you're going by because lycanthropy is I really need to get some commercials for this show so I can take a moment, chew it over with the Twix. Okay. Lycanthropy comes in a lot of varieties. While I use werewolf in this very broad term, I mean lycanthrope. You may be a werebear, a wereboar, a werecat of some sort. And any number of varieties. Whether you go for the whole alpha, thing, or if you are just your plain Jane European-based werewolf. You accidentally went and pulled yourself a Larry Talbot, and you gotten. That sounds like a book title. I'm not sure which one is, but if you are indeed a werewolf, and and yes, you should. I hope your story is your story finished and published. That's the most of them are where you'll never see them coming. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do something. I will blink for just a moment. Okay, I turned off my side monitor because I'm not going to be doing what I plan to do today. If you're going to be a werewolf, become an aware wolf. Find some peace. Now, changing into a werewolf does not, in point of fact, necessarily alter your alignment in old school D&D terms, in my opinion. No, self-help. So you're a werewolf. Now what? That does really appeal. if you've become a werewolf, the first thing you have to do is realize that you now have an animalistic side. Learning to control that is a lot like puberty, just kind of on steroids. You'll need to address your dietary needs, just like anyone else. For example, as a human, what with diabetes, I know that going into a fencing bout day, I need to watch my blood sugar. I need to carb load a bit. I need to go into it a little high, take frequent breaks, stay hydrated, frequent snacks. Now, a great I hate when that happens. Mind your own business, moon rises because you're a warehouse, a mid 19th century tutor. Well, that's your fault for getting your finger caught in the squeaky door in that abandoned house you found in the woods. That's a play stupid games, get stupid prizes moment. But because we're getting, what, like, now, no, hold on. Let's get it a little spookier in here. Let's just get it a little spookier in here, friends. So you're a werewolf. Now, first off, you have to treat your inner beast like any animal that is contained against its own will. You're going to have to provide safety, security, nourishment, and you're going to have to provide enrichment. So, the first thing you need to do is secure a place where you can't get out and people won't come in. Granted, eventually someone will. They'll open the door and get devoured, and you'll feel terrible about it. It's not you, it's the spirit of the beast within you running rampant. Moving past the moral conundrums, make sure that it's active, okay? Is there somewhere for your oversized pup to nest? Is there food available? Perhaps some, kongs the size of fire hydrants. Especially a young werewolf who really hasn't gained proper control of themselves needs a facility where that when the change is upon them, the beast is content. The other thing is extra pre-planning as a werewolf. You want to make sure that immediately after there's access to large meals before and after, because you're going to need a lot of protein, you're going to need a lot of calories, you're going to need a lot of oils to keep the joints limber throughout the whole transition in and back, and hydration is vital. I really think that a large number of werewolf attacks simply come from the fact that someone turns into a werewolf and the werewolf that was them is now in a place with no enrichment. Of course, they'd go bonkers, claw at the walls, and leave. But if you make the setting nice enough, secure enough, and you have defensive measures in place to keep idiots out, you should be able to get through a large number of changes with relative ease. Now, should you be the type of werewolf that gains a measure of control in part or throughout your transformation, one should foster that. Both being able to control yourself in there and prevent yourself from changing it unwanted as much as possible. Development of the Zen arts, meditation, calm exercises. A level of isolation in a natural environment is preferred, best as far from humanity as possible, but with a thriving natural wildlife population. Lots of deer, for example, and other game. So that should you get loose, you're more likely to maul a nice, tasty deer, have some venison, than eat Miss Eldridge down the road. As you gain your abilities, it is important for werewolves especially to remember that do not just rely on your supernatural strength and speed and senses. Harness them. train in, you know, practice martial arts, and then practice them in your more lupine form or feline or whatever. It doesn't matter what you shift into. Practice and train in both forms. Practice the shifts in and out. Now, I will tell further as you gain control of your form. There is no reason why a werewolf should not own two sets of armor at least. Um, in the past, bulletproof vests and such were highly expensive. But now you can get discreet bulletproof clothing for your torso and lower areas at surprisingly affordable rates. I believe there's a company, Bulletproof Anywhere. I'm not sponsored by them, but I've heard good things about them. Where for day-to-day wear of bulletproof shirts and stuff, being as that's the only thing that can really end you, is an attack with silver. It would make sense that in your human form, you want to wear it. And if you convert into a beast and you have the level of control where you are sibilant, you can speak, you can communicate, wouldn't it make sense to at least make armor if you are going to insist on being a traditionalist and fight with, claws and fangs? Nothing wrong with that. But remember that they do make steel, you can get caps that you could wear over your teeth to further protect them. Just because it will grow back doesn't mean it's something you want to endure. Likewise, I am certain, and I'd be disappointed if there weren't, that community has to be serviced by some type of seamstress or armorer who can make and fit armor to your lycanthropic form, either as something that you can put on yourself if you maintain enough dexterity, or a human or otherwise unaffected ally can put on for you. If you remain quadruped, well, that's fine too. They make lots of armor for military dogs and such. There's no reason why it shouldn't be able to be upsized. Get some goggles, maybe a breathing apparatus. Why? Because you don't want to deal with wolfsbane. You want to be able to shrug off silver shots. And, human daggers are still hard to penetrate. Any body like you can do to keep swords and daggers off of you. Any natural woven allies you can acquire, again, using werewolf. You'll probably want to stick within your relative species. Acquire, do so. But for the werewolf, a lot of survival depends on isolation. It depends on vigilance. It depends on having plausible signs. For example, a severe allergy to house pets. Explaining that you are severely allergic to house pets will explain why you stay away from them. This gives you cover that so you don't have that incident. Why is every dog that he walks by barking? If you're sneezing and feel suddenly talking like this because the nose is stuffed, go, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. That can give you a reasonable cover for avoiding animals that might react poorly and out you for what you are. Likewise, it is best to find out if there are governmental agencies that either can facilitate helping you in living as normal a life as possible with an aid of containment, or through service you can keep yourself off the hunt for bounty lists out there. Because if there isn't a governmental branch in a world where werewolves are running around that hasn't harnessed, hired, or somewhat controlled them, well, that's just unlogical. Because if there's something we do, it's seek power. So be aware of these. Whether you choose to lie yourself with them is a whole nother thing. And perhaps I'll cover that towards the end of spooky season. You know, you thought it was helpful and it turned out to be the SCP Foundation. Now what? But being a lycanthrope does not need to be the end-all, be-all. Now, understand yourselves with lycanthropic rules. There may be internal agencies that exist to preserve the relative secret of lycanthropic existence. Learn your laws quickly. Do your research and stay vigilant. Don't be dumb. A lot of people, because when you're not in lukewarm, not under lunar madness, there oftentimes is a heightened physical strength, heightened prowess, sometimes a pheromonal thing that can be very alluring. It can be tempting to be a big bad werewolf. But friends, remember that gets you attention. If you suddenly develop lycanthropic powers, do not join your local lacrosse team. Do not make a big spectacle of yourself to let everyone know, hey, there's something up with this kid. He went from a 90-pound weakling to wrecking the offensive line with glowing yellow eyes and growling, gee, I wonder. Know your foes, know your situation, steer clear of most organizations that could be a problem. Now, let's see. We are wonderfully off track. You asked for it. I provided. Sadly, my story isn't published. I have a couple beta readers going through it looking for mistakes and such, but I'm so negative on my own stuff that I keep changing things while they read. Pick an end. Pick a date that you're going to, nothing happens till your readers go through it. Then after that, make revisions. Then get it up either on lulu.com or KDP. I have worked expressly through Amazon Kindle Direct. It works pretty well for me, and I find that their printing rate is very good. The printing rate for author copies is very competitive compared to a lot of these smaller companies. So I really would recommend at least starting there and then branching out. If you are serious about writing a werewolf story, getting it out there. One, if I don't have a copy, you may have send me another. I will go through it as I have time. Secondly, set a date where you are going to publish. Figure out what kind of cover you want for it and some of the formatting issues. You're more than welcome to reach out to me direct, Thesis. I'll be happy to talk to you through it. Cindy Kep's gone through it quite a bit. It's almost like my other main show is about promoting authors and writers and musicians and artists and things like that. Hit me up if you have a beginning, middle, and end. Let's see what we can do to get a polished story out of that and do something else, okay? Because you deserve to be out of that feedback loop. A vampire, a were-dog, and a retired Jolly Constantine walk into the woods. They meet a lady in white. My problem is I know several people who could qualify as a vampire in certain circumstances. I know quite a few people who could be war dogs. And oh my gosh. No, I am not a John Constantine. Because Rockstar Johnny, he likes to stir up stuff and let other people clean it up. No, I'm the kind of guy who was to clean up the certain messes that Rockstar Johnny did before I retired. Out. Done. Throws a stick for Thesis. Just like all puppers, they need exercise. Yes. But seriously, if you're going to look at something like this, this is a great way for thinking in terms of mental flexibility. Why would I talk about fictional stuff like this? I talk about fictional stuff because my mind plays, okay, these are the parameters. What would I do with this, with that? If my opponent's a werewolf, how would I engage it? If I suddenly became a werewolf, how would I not suddenly become prey for every other werewolf, you know? For that question, you might not want to answer. What if I have a target I want to take down and he's doing it in crazy form and doing it in crazy form, wolf form, crazy dog form will help hide my entity. How do you plan it? The problem with that is doing something in crazy wolf form will give you short term, okay, protection. It'll hide your, but it's going to call a whole one. Once it's happened, eventually the people who see the pieces are going to find out. They always do. So you'll have wolf hunters running around, and every idiot known to man with a rifle out looking for the beast de Gévaudan. And once that happens, somebody will get the information to somebody who can put two and two together, and then the real hunters will show up. If you are a werewolf, the best thing to stay safe is to deal with any targets, threats you have as a human. Allegedly. I mean, this is all very fictional, so I'm not going to give trouble. Werewolfism is best a surprise you keep put away, and anybody who finds out is removed, in a story. Just when you get a hold of some Hulk pants, just need to get hold. So you, when you shift, you don't shred your clothes and come do the naked walk of shame. No, that's spandex is your friend, just like Hulk would say. There are, depending on if you go bipedal or if you go quadrupedal. If you go quadrupedal, you're coming home naked. That means you need to go throughout wherever you usually hang out or things that would interest you as a dog and bury bags of clothing, sweatpants, suits, all over the place, because you're going to need them. The other thing you're going to want is to get yourself the like air tags or something for your wallet, your keys, etc. Because if you shift somewhere else and you do the whole partial shift where your clothes are hanging off of you and then get drug off into the woods, you're going to need to find them later. It's just practical. And remember, when we're talking about lycanthropy, we have to be practical. Just when you need to get, okay, we did that. They don't always bark. Sometimes they want to follow you like, well, a pack. In that case, taking a profession as a veterinarian or something where you can hide it makes sense. I'm glad I don't have to follow the moon. Well, most kitsune don't. Whole different ballgame of lycanthropy. Usually because kitsune are the foxes pretending to be human, not the other way around. Whole different ballpark. And the answer for how to deal with a kitsune is don't. You leave them alone. That's just leave them. That's way too much mojo. It's way too complicated. And Jai says, so just get a furry costume. That would be so meta. Like double all the way down. Johnny, it is funny because I did the cover art for a book by a dear friend of mine who goes by the handle Kivrin St. James. Oh, wait, no. That's not Kivrin St. James's work. That's Amanda's work. Amanda, my loving wife Amanda, published a book about lycanthropy called Quaywolf. Give me a second. I have to pull it off her shelf. My books, I forget to put up. Her books, but seriously, I did the art for it, and the shtick is that they are literally lycanthropes hiding at a Louisiana furry con. So the character literally is a werewolf dressed as a werewolf. And this is a great fun book. It is a full-size book that Maddie wrote quite a while ago. I recommend reading it, but it will make you hungry. I'm not lying. This book will make you very, very hungry. So let's see. I've had random dogs follow me instead of barking at me. It can't be that interesting. Of course it is. You are the largest, most powerful. If you get into that whole alpha thing, which it's a little more complicated than that, it's there. You certainly establish dominance. That's funny. I'm just mischievous, of course. Did someone call you a cuddly little ball of chaos or something? But the nine-tailed foxes look so good in human form. You can't seriously expect me to pass that chance up. Little vampire. We're going to have to talk about it. Unpopular opinion, but truth. A werewolf against a young vampire will win in fair hand-to-hand combat. They just will. They're stronger, they're faster, they're primal. Now, as vampires like dragons improve with age, and if one is allowed to live, then suddenly it becomes a whole different ballpark. But nine-tailed foxes are lycanthropes who work like vampires. As they age, they level up. And if you happen to run into one of the fox nobility, remember, this is far closer to messing around with the fae in function than it is with your day-to-day were creature. You don't want to mess with that. Oh, now, indeed, I am a cuddly ball of chaos. Kurama was a nice dude in Yu Yu Hakusho. It'll be fine. Things fell off my desk in its own accord. Just keep saying that. Watch Legend of the White Snake and tell me you wouldn't be tempted to chase after any kind of creature woman. Okay, let me explain. Tempted. Yes, I am quite aware of how tempting your folklore beasties of any kind can be. It does not go well for people who succumb to the temptation. They usually go from being ate to et. You know what I'm saying? You will end up, at best, somebody's supernatural slave till they bore with you, and most likely a meal of some sort. See also sirens, harpies, a few other beasties that can run that gambit. Things that call you into the woods at night, especially in the Appalachians, which don't. Most of them look good specifically to get your attention. Yes! So that they can eat you. The vast majority, if you screw up, will eat you. If it doesn't, the best you can hope for is to be the mortal in an immortal's tragedy. And know that having met and loved you will cause them to suffer for the rest of eternity. Or as long as their ageless existence carries on. I don't think we want to do that. Don't make Liv Tyler cry. I'm sure tempted this. Well, I'm glad. My regular relationships don't go well either. I've got home field advantage. Okay, now if you were going as one type of supernatural entity to another, and I can't believe. Hi, folks. This is Late Night with Nick Talker, and we're talking about love and monsters, not the movie, but love between them. So, you found yourself in a Romeo and Juliet style situation between lycanthropes and vampires. How are you going to get it out? Let's take the first caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Hi, I'm Johnny, and I am how you say, sexy. It appears we have another vampire on the line. Hello, Johnny. How can we help you? Well, I just saw this foxy kitsune lady, and well, I can see that, Johnny. I can see that that would really be tempting. Has she bound your soul to a stick yet? No, no, we're going well. Very well, keep on that, and best of luck. One or both of them are doomed. Heck, fox spirits in Jade's Empire look like bipedal, look pretty good most of the time. I'm not worried about getting eaten by them because I'm usually. Next comment. Tinder just got. Can we make a new app? Call it Fangs. Thanks for looking. Oh, God. Fangs for the memories. Anyway, first off, it would be well, you already don't have your OnlyFangs account, you know. Those are running around rampant by now because e-girls have discovered the power of fangs. Uh, but sure, why not? You know, I believe everybody deserves love, and why can't you? God, this show went completely. This show is the great train robbery. There are no rails. Where we're going, we don't need rails. Oh my goodness. Tinder for the supernatural community. We got to get on this. I'm having flashbacks to the early aughts and some very strange chat rooms I found myself wandering through at times. Because when you take commissioned art, you meet interesting people. But I think we've gone far enough astray from the point of this show. So let's delay the spookiness for a bit. Let's just put this away. We had fun. That was good. And oh, he was little. Okay. We do. I do want to talk about drills. The very first drill I did for this channel, the very first video I did, was a very simple one-armed version of the 9 guards of the simple sword system. Okay. It worked very well. It's still a great video if you want to see a much younger, much browner haired version of me. Go in and look at it by all means. However, I have been working, and my current drill is rather different. If that is something you guys want me to record and talk through, I will warn you, it is a dual wielding variant for time. And it is not meant to be a kata in the teaching you the transitions, but getting your body used to the positions themselves. It is establishing the notes, not writing the song, because my approach to music, to martial endeavors, is far more to be interested in a jazz-like improvisational method than trying to learn specific physical lyrics, physical points in the discussion. Because all physical engagements are essentially a discussion. Somebody says, I want to punch you, and you say, ow, or you say, I would rather you didn't. Can we rotate this over here? Or you say, no. You know, uh, I want to stab you. No, I think that sword needs to go wide. And since that's made a nice opening, I would like to offer the counterpoint of me stabbing you. To which they may reply, no, I think I'm going to back up and come at this problem from a different angle. Oh, really? And when you realize that, it distills a lot of the tension out of it because you don't worry about why you're having the discussion. It doesn't matter. Simply winning that physical debate when you're actually sparring and learning from the discussion when you are in partner drills and such, training, is what lets you advance. Oh, I got behind on comments. Let me see. We should. All cryptids are welcome, full or alleged. Foxy, I were just talking a couple days ago. I wonder how often they scrub old dating apps because if they don't, I've got a few dating profiles out there on some sites. Johnny says, you heard the man. Don't make any more jokes about hot single werebears in your area. Gives a whole new meaning. Gives an all new meaning to dating a cougar. I'd watch that. You're drilling with what trainers again? I will be I'm currently using the Wolf's Head sabers. I know it looks full drizzed, but the balance is good. The grip is supportive, so I'm less likely to lose it in the case of grip. And they happen to be basically the right weight because with my nerve damage, I have a very rigid hand weight limitations. So I have to overcome it by doing a lot more reps, basically, to get progress. I have a reasonable set of body goals. Yes, it's based on a fictional character, but it's very simple. My goal is to eventually go from season 1 Iroh, Uncle Iroh, to post prison Uncle Iroh. I'm to the point where I can fairly comfortably walk a couple miles. I'm to the point where I'm doing anywhere from. I got to do the math real quick. 10 times 10 is 100. 200 to 500 shots a night, depending on how my body is flowing at the time. It's very much built on how much have I done in the day? How's it conditioning? Still going to make the guard for the D sword? I want to. I desperately want to. I just haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it. Now, I modded my katana. I have a version 2 Purple Heart Armory katana that I modded a long time ago. One second. And I had to mod it this way because in the past he used a steel guard on this. The tape has come off. Give me a second. Oh, here, I'm going to use these scissors because I will have a little more control with them than whipping my knife out. But my case is a little different than most of you because I'm coming from a position where when I restarted this journey, I was only able to, make the journey from my bedroom to the couch and back. So I've been years building from one notch from being in a wheelchair. So my perspective can be a little warped on that. But this is my modified one. There's nothing wrong with this. This is a beautiful, it is a little heavy. The grip is phenomenal. But because it was exposed steel, I took split rubber tubing and I used white electrical tape, and I'll probably switch that out for duct tape, to put a protector around the raw aluminum edge because the raw aluminum edge could damage trainers as it came in. This is not the weapon that Johnny's talking about, but this one is much safer to discuss in here. I would love to do a uh, full version of my Odachi, but with a crossguard on it. I just haven't found the right method and material to do it. Thank you for reminding me that that project is in the works because it needs to be done. See, I walk between 9,000 and 11,000 steps a day. And because I do most of it indoors, I started carrying one of my gin while I do it. I've had to stop using step counters because the oddities of my gait, the way I walk, it is very I the step counters don't read my steps right at all. They usually only read half of my steps because of the hitch in my hip flexors. It's not the right motion, basically. So I know the distances that I am walking, and I know relative the feeling. So I'm holding up okay. It's working all right. I hear you, Sephiroth. It's all right. Well, Johnny, I will never be just a memory, and I want to make that perfectly clear. And yes, folks, the strong sword is in my queue of things to work on, and I will get into great weapons and larger at some point, including pole arms. I have to get through certain projects right now for the purpose of protecting my IP. I've had some people try to make some runs at ripping me off, essentially. So I have to get some of my things published, and that way I'll have greater protection. So it has to get finished. It's been a whole pain in the derriere, but while I'm working on that, that's just part of what it takes to do what I do. Now, so I will shoot a video on the drill that I do. It looks farcical, but remember, it's not meant to be combative. I'll show the drill. I'll explain why each guard is where it is and how to change it so you can see, oh, that's what he's doing. It is still in development. It's something I want to refine, but I'm always refining my personal drilling for my abilities. I still consider the polypropylene rapiers my best bet for prolonged fighting, which means drilling with the safes, the wolf sabers, makes sense because I want to drill with something slightly heavier than what I intend to fight with. That has always been my methodology. And as I rebuild, that is one of the best things I can do. That's also always been my policy. You want to train and drill with a heavier weapon than the weapon you use. But optimally, you want it to be the same length. And preferably as close to the same point of balance as possible. Which is why there's a couple trainers I am intrigued by, but I have to do some real close measurements to refine whether they will work for what I want to do. Let's see. They do the same thing with me, Nick. I walk too softly most of the time for pedometers. So we have to find ways to work around it, and a lot of it is I can tell by the distances that I do for my casual walks. I usually walk up about a quarter mile one way from the house, back a quarter mile the other way, back. That way, if I'm overstrained, I'm not too far from home most of the time. So that gives me about a mile, which for somebody that they said was going to be in a wheelchair is phenomenal. You can't weigh your development against the development of people in great physical health. So you have to kind of factor it in. So that's why we slide our goals towards us. For me, on a day where I can fandangle to handle 40 or 50 pounds um, with both arms, and it's learning to pick up with most of the weight on the arms and transferring to the arms and off the hands as fast as possible. Making sure I'm doing something like that early in the day. I need just put more WD-40 on my hands. Anyway, my hands are getting sore. The weather's changing again. But it's also been a very, very physically trying day. That is something I consider a major accomplishment for me. Considering I went for a time where my water bottle was something I had to use both hands to hold as I redeveloped the musculature and did my best to tend to the dying nerves. Now, I understand that I could wake up tomorrow and I could be all the way back at the beginning. I could wake up, get up, and my legs could say, the nerve that's frazzled finally snapped, and there's no more walking. That's been my reality for quite some time. The same thing could happen to my hands. But, yeah, I did a lot today, and actually, I did a very lot today. We found a grill on sale, very cheap, so I was able to get a new grill. But I kind of had to roll it around the store. And yes, they are very swollen, and they are in quite a good bit of pain. I don't talk about it much because it doesn't benefit me. But if you've ever slammed your hand in a cabinet door or a house door accidentally, my hands feel like that most of the time. Uh, it's more manageable with my nerve pains, but my nerve meds. But once we get to this time of day, where I've taken my meds but they haven't kicked back in, they stop working, and that's why I have to time what I do when I would do it. I take it easy tomorrow if you can. I have a very, very busy day tomorrow, doing very, very heavy things. So I will be taking a lot of anti-inflammatories and probably breaking out some more powerful topical medications that I can use. But on any given day, yeah. So I look at it like every day that I can move, that I can draw, that I can hold a trainer or a sword, I should be developing myself best I can and passing what I know while I can still demonstrate it to others. Uh, Geesh, double geesh. Yeah. Um, and unfortunately, I don't currently, for reasons I don't understand fully, uh, I'm not eligible for financial support or anything for all of this yet. I'm still working to get where I can get a handicap placard for my license plate because many times they treat a diabetic concern like as part of obesity, which it gets treated like it's a moral failing, and it's like no. But I have a lot going for me right now, and things are getting better, and I'm able to get better a lot from the inspiration I get from you wonderful folks. That's why I work so hard. It's also why I've been really scared to try my throwing knives. And real confession, I look at them all the time, and I just haven't been able to bring myself because it's going to be incredibly heart-wrenching to see something I was so dedicated to not being able to do. But it's one I'm going to have to face soon. So I'll record that when I get out there and do it. And it's why sometimes I go long periods between recording weapons demos because, frankly, my hands don't do what they used to do. And I am so much better, and I'm getting so much better. But a lot of it's through adaptive practice. And I want you guys to not. It's not a. I appreciate the sympathy. It's not what I'm chasing. I want the people who do understand to know they're not alone in it, because that's what my hands feel like. That's what my arms feel like. That's what my feet and legs feel like. Because I have nerve damage and a type of paralysis that runs the nerves that run from my hips, around my thighs, around my calves to my feet. It sort of snakes around. That nerve cluster is damaged. It does not work right. That's why I walk the way I do. I have neuropathy in my hands. So,
Something going on?
Yeah, I'm still doing my stream, buddy.
Oh.
You're okay. But so yeah, in some ways, because I have neuropathy, I'm a little bit on Team Johnny because parts of me are trying to die and I'm refusing to let them. So there's a small percentage of undeath in my unnatural persistence to stay functional. I think we should all be pleased with that. But all jokes aside, guys, it's important. No one knows how much time they're going to have. No one knows how much healthy time they're going to have. So I've chosen to try to use mine to help people, make them happy, make them more empowered. And if you want to help me do what I do, little big dude is now almost 6 feet tall at 14.
Yeah.
Johnny says you sound bigger. Do you want to come say hi? I mean, you can't see them, but they can see you. You want to come in? Yeah.
Hello there, Johnny.
Yeah, that's Johnny.
Oh, I mean John. Sorry.
No. He goes by Johnny. You're okay. And that's Thesis and Foxy. And let's see, who else is here? I think that's all that's here today.
Okay.
It's Thesis, Johnny, and Foxy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cindy was here. But you okay?
Yeah.
Those are the nice guild people. And he says hello.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'll be out in a bit. Go help Mom bake.
Okay.
And pet the new kittens too, if they let you.
I promise.
Good man. So he's glad to see you guys. And that's the other thing. When I'm not doing this, I'm taking a child that was described to me by education professionals as a monster, as unteachable, as unruly and dangerous to himself as others. And we went from him being scared and frankly violent to me being able to have exchanges like that. That's what I do. Oh, you got more cats? Yes. We had the three that were out on the porch, and we got drops on them. One of them went missing, and I've spent the last several nights and days in my free time wandering up and down the street as far as my body will let me, calling as long as my voice will hold out to try and call him back in. I don't know if he was taken by a predator or just catnapped. But we brought the other two in, and we are in the process of ingratiating them to Stuart and Dusty. So these two are Snickerdoodle, a tawny orange cat, and Boots, who is about a half-sized gray tiger tabby with white spots and white boots up his legs, hence the name, who is half a notch of feral. I love him dearly, but whatever happened has them terrified, which makes me wonder. We will be we're still asking around about Bubba, the missing cat, but it's beyond my power right now. So yeah, that's why I was out at the crossroads at midnight under the full moon, wandering around. And the gentleman I suspect may have taken one of the cats showed up, and I may have gleefully informed him that if whoever took the cats, I hope they are consumed by the shadows. Well, cursed them to be consumed by the shadows. Probably should not have said that, but whoever took my cat shouldn't have done that. Anyway, you'll hear more about them, and I'm glad you guys will say hi. Was it Robert Johnson? No, no, it was not Robert Johnson. But I'm about 15 minutes over, and my voice is just starting to get a little rough. I've had exactly, and Boots is a tiny little guy, so it's just going to be one day at a time because there are just too many predators and of the human and of the inhuman out there. So we're going to take care of them. And if they don't fit, I'll find a good home for them. But my sucker button got hit, guys. It just happens. So I will see you guys probably Monday at the latest for Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. Sometime this weekend, I still have to do my art time with Nick so I can set up the thumbnails. And I'm going to be doing some kind of Arttober this year, as I usually do. It won't be Inktober. I may find a random word generator site or something like that. But I won't be doing Inktober branded because there was some weirdness with the guy suing people, and I certainly want nothing to do with that. But it's going to be very busy. To a few of you, I will be extending an invitation to the Leafy Moss celebration, which is my personal little holiday where we exchange ebooks to have things to read during the spooky season. And with that, guys, I do love you, seriously. So, and I love you, and so should you. Keep your guard up. Do your drills. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, friends, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will see you sooner than we expect and try to get some stuff. Have a great night.